Admittedly, I am guilty of saying this before every episode, but this conversation with Mike Verret, the marketing legend, was just fascinating. In fact, it was so great that I'm going to have to split it into multiple parts. So today we're going to be covering our conversation that touches on just about everything, from why Stephen King can write over 1,000-page novels, but not the paragraph synopsis of it, and how you can stand out against the crowd of competition by mastering and spicing up the way you share your story. So whether you're someone pitching your idea to a group of investors or just trying to answer the question, what exactly do you do? This episode is for you. Welcome to Popup Advice, the place where masters of entrepreneurship, leadership, and e-commerce reveal their secret tips and tricks for becoming the top dogs in their field. These candid conversations will give you exclusive strategies that turn your good idea into a great success. Let's dive in. We are here with Mike Verret. How are you doing tonight or today?
Night. God, we're skipping way ahead. It's only 11:40 where I am, and you're west of me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I just woke up.
It's good to be here, Sav. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it. So for those who aren't familiar with you, Mike, maybe you could give a bit of an intro of who you are, what you do, and just a quick recap.
Absolutely. What I do now is show businesses how to talk about themselves to their audience the right way and how to get them to say, tell me more, how to engage them, right? And it's predicated on, throughout my career, advertising, marketing firms, and ultimately global brand management experience and product management experience. My one red thread through all of that was my understanding of an audience, how to get their attention and connect with them, how to explain what they need to know in the order that they need it, not the business, and how to get them to act, whether it was client services in the ad agency world or even just figuring out how to navigate the halls and the political infrastructure of a Fortune 500 company. It's always the same thing. Your audience needs to connect with you, and that buys you 3 to 5 seconds. Then they need to know they're in the right place. How do you tell them you're in the right place? Then they need to know a solution. How do you state it as a headline? Like, that's how we think as human beings, and how we receive information is based in a narrative. It's a story, right? What happened? What happened next? What came after that? So throughout my career, that's how I always thought. So I left corporate America and started my own practice around that idea of, it's as simple as this: answering the question, so what do you do? It's a hard thing to do when it's your business, when you know everything, right? And my job is to help you get to that way to say what you do in a way that connects to your customer, directs them the right way, and gets them to act.
You definitely speak true there when you say it's hard when it's your thing. In addition to, I just bet the second that question's posed, there's this abundance of information that just goes through your mind, like, what do I want to say? What should I say? And like you said, there's a fraction of time. So it really is, carries a lot of weight with one question.
Well, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, not answering that question, but the same fundamentals. Take an author like Stephen King. This illustrates exactly what you were just saying. He writes a new bestseller, 400 pages. Every single word has meaning and importance to him. It's for a purpose, right? Now it comes time to write the 3 paragraphs that sell the book, and he can't do it. How does he write the blurb for his own book if he knows everything? The solution for him is as simple as giving the book to somebody else to read. They see it through that 5% lens. Like, 100% is important to us. Only 5% matters to our audience. The person reading the book sees it through that lens because they're the audience. They write the 3 paragraphs for him because it's virtually an impossibility for him to figure out on his own.
Definitely. And so in your experience, like having worked with all these companies, why is that ability to pitch so important? I mean, why is this a skill that entrepreneurs and anyone in the business space should really be investing to master?
Well, there's one very specific, it's general, but very specific pointed reason. Your business is built on the value you deliver, right?
Mhm.
And you have a perception of what that value is. But your perception doesn't matter. It's how they perceive the value of what you have. Your audience, your client, your customer needs to have that perception of your value. And without that perception, you don't have what you think you have. So you could have the best idea in the world, but if you can't get them to see it that way, you don't have the best idea in the world. And processing everything, when you come up with a new idea, a new product, a new software platform, a new fintech platform, you know the ones and zeros, the how it all works, the science of it, and you know that you've built a killer experience, incredible features, blah, 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 right? Well, what is your tendency going to be? You're going to want to go out and tell them about those killer features and how badass this is going to be and what have you. But that creates this effect of, I want you to imagine you want to know what time it is, and you stop someone on the street and say, do you have the time? The person you stopped is a watchmaker. They want to tell you why it's that time and why this watch keeps the perfect time. And they want to talk about the Swiss mechanism inside that makes it so perfect. You just want to know it's 9:45. That's what we're all prone to when we know everything. The right thing to do is understand how an audience thinks. And the crazy thing is, all of us think that way in the real world. But in business, there's no business without show business. We start playing a character almost, right? The way we think, the things we do, but most importantly, think about the way we talk, right? I'll give you an example. The word ideate, the word synergize. Are those words you use when you're out to coffee with somebody? If you want to say, let's think about that, you don't say, let's ideate, but business does. If you're familiar with the 4 letters SaaS, what they mean, software as a service. What if I told you the only reason those 4 letters are together is it's because that's what the team building the software uses as an email abbreviation for software as a service. How's the SaaS project coming? So now their website, I go to it and says, we're a SaaS company. Well, I mean, that's important to you as an email abbreviation, but what if I've never seen those 4 letters together, but I need a software solution to streamline my business? You've missed me because you're thinking and talking like a business. The other side of the equation, there's no business without show business. The other side of that equation is what people actually remember, hold on to, and act on, right? If you're looking for something, what you're going to react to, that business, that post on social media has to deliver for you as first, best, or different. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Oh, that's the best thing I've ever tasted. Wow, that's different. Now, first and best are subjective at best and hard to come by, but different every business can do simply by understanding how their audience thinks. And it's like reading a book to a bunch of 6-year-olds on the reading rug at the library. Okay? Think about that. You know what's on page 5 of the book, say, Goodnight Moon, great children's classic. You know what's on page 5, but they don't. If you were just to show them page 5, they're like, why is that dish running away with that spoon? I don't get it. They need to read pages 1, 2, 3, and 4 and understand them perfectly so that they have context for page 5. Now, that page 5 in my mind is always services for a business or products or what we can do for you. But that's because you started out building your business around what problem do I solve for my customer. So of course you want to tell them about the solution and the service that you've created to get there, right? Yeah. But that's not where they're at. They may need your solution, but what they're operating on is motivation, why they need it. Simon Sinek, got famous for saying, what is your why? But ultimately, that's why we act as consumers. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Everybody talks about need state. What is the need state of our customer? That's where you introduce a solution, the product that they need, right? Mm-hmm. But before that, there's a reason they need it. How do you attach to that? That's Simon's why. I just call it motivation, but it's the same impulse. Example. You need a plumber. You go online, search plumber near me. The first 3 results you look at. You need a plumber? We're a plumber. Here's our phone number. The 4th one says, if water's leaking, hit this red button. We'll be at your house in 15 minutes. One of them knows your motivation. If you come home and a shingle or a light bulb needs to be fixed or replaced, you'll do that on Saturday, right? But if you come home and water is all over the floor, time stands still and panic sets in. You can't fix it yourself. It's destructive. It has to be fixed immediately is what's going through your head. That plumber is speaking to your motivation. The other 3 are just like, you need a plumber, we're a plumber. They all look identical. That last one looks completely different. And that's what connection is. Connecting to their motivation forms that idea of it only gets you a few seconds, but, oh, I should read further on this. How do I get from I have your attention to what comes next is predicated on what they see.
Yeah.
Your water is leaking. Yeah, we know how that feels. I just said how that feels. We have a 15-minute guarantee. Solution. Right?
Yeah.
If I see those 3 things in order, I'm going to keep reading your book. And that's the key. It has nothing to do with your services, your solution, how they're going to feel about it yet. It has to do with why they need it, make them feel that need, and show them a solution. So that's the kind of clarity and simplicity that I try to deliver in what I do, because ultimately an audience thrives on clarity and simplicity. We need to understand it in the right order of information.
Yeah. Would you say that clarity is one of the most fundamental keys to a successful pitch?
I believe 1,000%, if that were an option, that yes, that's what's important. Think about all those, use the plumber again, or I'm going to use a public relations firm for this example. Imagine going to a Zoom meeting with 12 people and all of them are in public relations. You're not, you're talking to all these people. So what do? I run a public relations firm. What do? I'm in the public relations business. What do? I help businesses create newsworthy stories from what they have gotten, prattle on, right? Then it comes to me and I say, I make news when it matters. I didn't say I'm a PR firm. So I could be a journalist. I could be an unruly celebrity in the gossip column at that point. But more importantly, the exact motivation, the need, why they need a PR firm, what leads to that is the fact that they can't write their own news, right? But their news has to have impact. It has to matter to the people who read it. It can't fall on deaf ears. That's exactly what I'm saying when they're looking. I'm going to look very different from everybody saying you need a PR firm or a PR firm.
There's no like substance to that. It's just regurgitating what they put into their Google search. But like you said, there's really no hook. There's no speaking to the need, as you gave with the example of the plumber. So that makes perfect sense in my mind.
I had a talk about just sort of everybody says this, a client who's a business consultant for entrepreneurs who have an idea, product, what they're building, but running the business around it isn't their strong suit.
Yeah.
That's what she would say. Where we moved it towards is let's think about that entrepreneurial journey. And you know what you know, but you don't know everything else. Every day feels like you're in a storm, right? You're just trying to keep the boat pointed into the waves. So the connection point is weather the storm of entrepreneurship. The relation is it feels like you're just the perfect storm, right? Just trying to keep the bow pointed into the big waves. Here comes Kathleen, who gives you a gentle tailwind and navigates you into calm waters. She's a business consultant who works with entrepreneurs to build their business around their idea.
Yeah.
But what the entrepreneur is thinking is storm, bow into the water, waves, hold on tight. What does tomorrow bring? And she's able to offer this promise of sailing, through the bays of the Cayman Islands. That's how to communicate what she does from an audience's point of view.